What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this I want to break down what's going on with the overall market and do an analysis of bigger time frames and break down how things are looking going into the next couple of weeks. Why I think the market is going to be approaching all-time highs all over again, if not making new all-time highs. But before I begin the devil's information, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 of them. And the offer ends very soon in just about 3 weeks. Anyways, for SPY, I want to talk about something very, very important that's going on. I'm also going to talk about Tesla and the others and talk about the much bigger time frames. So looking at SPY, one thing worth noting is that on the monthly time frame, we've had this very, very nice looking cup and handle like structure. And this is still continuing to break out. There's no sign that this trend has stopped. We've been on a very, very strong uptrend for quite some time. Now, one thing worth noting is that the monthly still looks very, very strong for SPY. We have very, very nice looking momentum right over here. Volume has been declining a bit, but overall, the trend is still strong. And then when you look at the weekly time frame, the weekly is not looking as bad. If you look at how we look on the weekly, we could have gone a little higher, but you guys can see this trend is still bullish as we held our weekly 20 EMA right over here, continued higher, and we're still holding up very nicely at these key levels. We're also not too far from all-time highs right now, so we're still looking pretty good. I have a nice potential bullish cross in the PPO right here, which does suggest more upside is imminent. So the monthlies and weeklies for SPY and the QQQ remain bullish. I think that this is going to likely continue to these new highs. I also want to call out a couple of more things that are worth noting. When we look at the hourly time frame, the way SPY moved was just absolutely insane on Friday. We had the PCE data report come out. I think the hourly kind of shows this really well. And you guys can see we got this very, very nice push as we opened. SPY hit 525. Then we got a big rejection all the way down to this 518 area because this was a nice liquidity grab before a lot more buyers came back and they pushed us even higher from here. So that's what's led to this upside. And the 4 hours also looking very bullish on SPY. We're nearing a PPO crossover right here. So this is favoring. This gap is going to easily fill to the 530 area. And I think we're just going to continue to go all the way up here. So what do I think is going to happen moving forward? In my personal opinion, I'll be watching this target up here. I think that we could be approaching this gap fill. I think we're going to be easily going up to 529.25 and eventually 530. And then I think that, we'll keep pumping moving forward. This is going to be our next resistance level, 531.5. I'm sure that's familiar to a lot of people, followed by the all-time high at 533 to 534. I think it's 534, just a little bit under that. I personally have a feeling that, and this sounds crazy, but I think that we might be breaking to a new all-time high. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like this where they continue to hold SPY up like this. I think we might just quickly push up on Monday into this 530 area, come down a bit, trade sideways, just continue to push our way up to this high. And we could continue to go even above this into like the 540 area as we approach mid to late June. I think that by the end of June, we should be hitting 540. As crazy as that sounds, they're going to continue to squeeze shorts. I don't think the move is done just yet. So why is the market so violent? Well, one thing worth noting is that people keep going crazy, and there's a very, very interesting cycle. The VIX, okay, the VIX was telling us a lot about how people were becoming not only more fearful, but we were seeing a big shift in implied volatility. And then as the VIX started to get a temporary bounce, what's interesting about this is how everyone started turning bearish. People turned way too bearish, saying the market's going to crash, this and that. Fear was making up sentiment. And that's the reason why they just started to squeeze these shorts. What's interesting is when you look at how we closed on Friday, we had about 264,000 calls in the money, almost 400,000 out of the money, and over 1.6 million puts. Almost every put ended up out of the money. They just went, against the puts. And that's just absolutely insane how this ended up playing out. And then when you look at the future, what's happening moving forward is we still have quite a few puts expiring for next week and etc. So we're going to likely continue to see upside like this. I wouldn't be surprised if we just continue to remain parabolic and keep going. Everyone's going to be thinking the market's going to crash, it's going to drop, it's going to get stopped. I think it'll just keep going, at least for now, to at least all-time highs. I do think we're going to be making new all-time highs. I think that for now, the market is going to temporarily pump. Now, I also want to talk about how, at least on SPY on the daily time frame, we're also looking really good on the daily. Look at the daily, guys. Very, very bullish looking daily candlestick. I see this gap fill very easily to 530 and eventually these highs. Now, how about for Tesla? Is Tesla bullish in my opinion? Well, honestly, guys, I think the answer is yes. And also, I also would say to be cautious with Tesla. Tesla, short term, excuse me, we're just kind of trading sideways. 173 to 180 is where we've been, and there is a risk of us coming down to fill the gap at 168 if we were to lose 178. But regardless of if that happens, even if we go down to 168, even if we don't do that, we just start breaking out. Ultimately, I see upside for Tesla because when you zoom out of the chart like this, you will see that there's a very, very clean inverse head and shoulders, and we're so far just kind of shuffling between our key Fibonacci retracement areas. I think that Tesla, like even if we do try to break past 180 and start pushing, we could just go parabolic from here and try to go up to the 200 area. If we do get a little pullback to 168, the inverse head and shoulders is still valid. We could go all the way down to 168 and still remain bullish and eventually get a breakout. I think we're heading for 200 on Tesla. Historically, Tesla's green about 78% of the time in June. So I'm going to be looking for some upside most likely for this period between June and July. I can't wait to see how things would end up going. So that's going to be very, very important. For the triple Q, same thing. We are looking very, very bullish on the 4 hour time frame as well. I think that we're going to be approaching this 453 area, then eventually higher levels like 455. And I can't wait to see how this ends up developing as well. Looking at the daily time frame, daily is also showing a little bit of life. It wasn't as strong as SPY, but we did like right now we're actually above where this candlestick happened to be, so it's looking more bullish to me. And we got a nice, very very bullish looking bounce. The weekly still looks pretty good on the QQQ. Not as good looking as SPYs, but it's still looking decent in my opinion, and I still see potential for this. What else could help fuel this is Nvda. Nvda on the weekly looks very, very insane. Crazy, crazy looking candlestick up here. I think it could continue to push higher from here, especially when you look at how it's holding it well on the weekly. The monthly on Nvidia is crazy strong as well. Same thing on SPY. The QQQ stick may lead to a lot more upside. So the bigger time frames are all pointing in the same direction. For Bitcoin, the monthly is also looking kind of strong, so I could be looking for this thing to eventually break to new all-time highs. It's not that hard or not that far away from them, so I could continue to see this thing break out, and I think that there's a lot more potential for this. For a few more, Aapl will probably be one of the last ones I talk about. The monthly on Aapl is looking very bullish looking. I think we're going to easily push up to about the 200 area, and we could be looking for new all-time highs on Aapl. So a lot of tech stocks like Aapl could be making new all-time highs. Nvidia could do the same thing too. SPY and the QQQ will be approaching all-time highs, probably. So will Bitcoin. So I'm seeing another rally coming at least for the summer period. For the IWM Russell 2000, monthly looks bullish. I think we're going to be pushing for 212 very soon. And eventually this 223 area, we have this nice imbalance to fill. Like I said in my previous videos, this is going to be a good year for small caps, and I still hold that same view. How about the memes? GameStop on the monthly, not looking as great in my personal opinion. It's kind of like nuanced when you actually kind of look at how it's been moving. So you want to give it some time just to see how things end up going. I do see potential if we do continue to hold up above 22 to be pushing up to like 25 plus. So I see some potential in the monthly, but it's not as strong looking as others out there. AMC's monthly is showing some life, but not super strong. I would love to see this thing try to rebound, try to get back above like $6 area. We're not there yet. There could be a little pump coming to AMC and GameStop though. We're starting to see some volume, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with the short interest and such. But overall, the market remains bullish. That's plain and simple. We had a lot of manipulation that happened on Friday, but the bulls are in control. But just remember something very simple. I'm going to show you why on earth the bulls are in control. Look at the 5 minute time frame. Give me 1 second. Hold on, guys. So what basically happened was the market didn't just fall overnight. Okay, this wasn't just an overnight drop. When you zoom out like this, check this out. It took these bears quite some time to get us down to these levels. Look how long it took the bears to get us here, right? It took the bears many, many, many days to get SPY all the way down to the levels we're at. So when SPY was in this level, this was back on Tuesday. SPY was shuffling in the 528 zone like this, 528 to 529. That was Tuesday. So Wednesday is 1 day, Thursday is 2 days, Friday is 3 days, 3 days of selling to get SPY down to 518. And it took the bulls, what, like 3 hours to get us back up there? So it took the bears 3 days to get us down here. It took the bulls 3 hours to get us back up, which is pretty insane. So you know who's in control. The market is very manipulated. There are few institutions that have the most control over the way we move, and they have the power to inject enough, liquidity to really move things around. They like to trick people, trying to get all of us to turn into big bears. We had a fake out dump on Friday, which led to a massive squeeze. I think that this squeeze is going to continue going into the next weeks based off the bigger time frames. So I anticipate more upside is coming for Tesla, SPY, and the others later into the month. For the more shorter term, I still see more upside for SPY, the QQQ, Nvda, and Aapl, not to mention Bitcoin. So bigger time frames are confirming more potential upside when you look at them based off what we're seeing. The monthly on SPY is still showing life. There's no sign of us kind of breaking down yet. To me, it still looks a lot more bullish. When I zoom out like this, you guys can see it a little bit more clearly. Okay, so with that being said, I just want to say I really appreciate every single one of you guys. I think you guys are very, very special in many different ways. I just want you guys to do very, very well for the way we're going to move. The market was very, very tricky on Friday. It does sometimes make us question things, but the best thing we could do is just be as unbiased as possible and get ready for more volatility. So we look bullish, get ready for more upside, in my opinion. I think the market's going to be approaching all-time highs, and I can't wait for what the future holds. So get ready for all-time highs, and I'll see you guys very soon. I'll give you guys a much more in-depth update on the markets, not to mention more tickers like Amazon, Coinbase, Microsoft, Google in my video for tomorrow. So I'll be back tomorrow around, I would say, the afternoon, if not a little bit earlier. Until then, thank you for listening. I'll see you guys very soon, and peace out.